All right, you lovely lot at Kent Business College, how are we doing? Welcome. Today, we're going to dive head first into the wonderful, and let's be honest, sometimes completely bonkers world of program management. So let's get right to it, shall we?
Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like the start of a terrible joke. But honestly, trying to manage a massive program can feel just like that. A proper, full-on palaver. But don't you worry, by the end of this little explainer, you'll have it all sorted. So come on, let's get cracking.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to break this whole shebang down into 5 simple acts. We'll start with that first little spark of an idea, and we'll follow it all the way through to shutting up shop at the end. Easy peasy.
Now, you can't have a good story without a cast of characters, right? So let's meet our players. First up, we've got Amgad. He's our Senior Responsible Owner, or SRO. Basically, he's the governor. Then we have Olivia, our program manager. She's the hero of this story, the one on the ground getting her hands dirty. And here's Adi, the business change manager. He's the people person, making sure all this new stuff actually sticks. And of course, you've got the sponsoring group. They're the ones with the money. And the program office, the engine room, just keeping the whole thing ticking over.
Right then, let's get into it. Act 1, kicking off the program. You can think of this as the call to adventure. That moment where a brilliant idea starts to feel like it might actually happen.
And listen, every single stage we're going to talk about follows this really simple rhythm. You get some stuff in, those are your inputs. You do some stuff with it, those are the activities, and then you produce some lovely shiny new things at the end, and those are your outputs. Simple as that, really.
So our first input, the big one, is the program mandate. Just think of it like a very posh memo that lands on Amgad's desk from the higher-ups, basically saying, go and sort this thing out. So what's the first thing he does? He hands it over to our hero, Olivia. And her to-do list? Right. First, confirm who's on the team, officially appoint Amgad as the SRO, and then start turning that one-line mandate into a proper program brief and some initial plans. And the final, crucial activity is getting that all-important green light to actually proceed.
And what do we get for all that hard graft? Well, our very first outputs, the program brief, and those initial strategy and plans. But here's where it gets interesting. See this little chart? It's a RASI chart. It stands for Responsible, Accountable, Consulted, and Informed. And it's dead simple. See, Olivia is responsible for doing the work. But it's Amgad, the SRO, who is ultimately accountable. If it all goes pear-shaped, the buck stops with him.
Okay, you with me? Good. On to Act 2, designing the grand vision. This is where we stop doodling on a napkin and start drawing a proper treasure map. One that also points out where all the dragons are hiding.
So the team takes the brief and plans we just made. Those are our inputs. And the activities? Well, this is all about fleshing things out. They have a good look at lessons from old projects. No need to reinvent the wheel, is there? They appoint everyone else to their proper roles, and then they craft a really clear vision statement. And crucially, this is where they start properly thinking about the good stuff, the benefits, and the scary stuff, the risks. They also figure out what the business is going to look like when this is all over. That's called the target operating model. And all of that gets bundled up into a first draft of the business case.
And voila! Look at all these shiny new documents that pop out at the end. We've got our vision statement and the target operating model. We've got detailed profiles of all the benefits we're hoping to get. And there it is, a draft business case. They've also started what I like to call the logbooks, the risk, issue, and decision registers to keep track of absolutely everything. Phew! It's all starting to feel very real now, isn't it? And that brings us to Act 3, planning the epic journey. Think of this as the final checkpoint before we set off. We've got to double-check everything, triple-check everything, and most importantly, make absolutely sure the money is in the bank. You see, the main event of this stage is taking that draft business case and turning it into a proper done deal. Before, it was just an idea, right? We think this might work. But now, the team validates everything. They get firm costs, they confirm the resources, and they get that final, official, big red pen sign-off from the sponsoring group. This is the point of no return. We're not just thinking anymore, we are committing the cash. So the key outputs from this stage are what I like to call the Triple Crown. These are the fully completed and, most importantly, approved versions of the program strategy, the program plans, and the business case. With these 3 documents in her hand, Olivia finally has the authority to start spending proper money and getting things built. It is officially go time. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the main event, Act 4, delivering and embedding the change. This is where all that lovely planning finally pays off.
And it's really about two key things. One, building the new stuff, and two, making sure people actually use it. So in this first part, Olivia and her team are absolutely flat out. They're deploying all the resources, they're managing all the work, and they are building the capabilities. That's just a fancy word for the shiny new system or process. But at the exact same time, Ozzy is out there working his magic. He's with the business, getting them ready, planning the switchover. He's basically warming up the crowd. And the output? The new thing is built, and it's ready to go. And now the baton is passed. The thing is built, so the focus shifts over to a day. It is his time to shine. He puts all his transition plans into action, training people, helping everyone get used to the new ways of working. Because remember, the goal isn't just to build it, it's to make sure people actually use it. And this is the magic moment where we start to see those benefits we were dreaming about way back in Act 2 actually start to appear. We have reached what we call a landing point. This little chart here shows it perfectly. In that first part, building the thing, Olivia is responsible. But in the second part, getting the value out of it, the responsibility shifts over to a day, our BCM. But who's accountable for the whole thing, from start to finish? You got it. It's our governor, Amgad.
And so, we come to our final act. Act 5, wrapping it all up. The main quest is over, the dragon has been slayed, but we are not quite done yet. It's time for a proper debrief, and then we can all go down the pub.
Okay, these last two stages are all about good housekeeping. First, we evaluate. This often happens at the end of a tranche, which is just a big chunk of work. We have to ask ourselves, did we actually do what we said we were going to do? We look at how we did and write up a report. And then, the final stage, we close. This is the big tidy up. You hand over any bits and bobs left over, you archive all the documents, and you officially get to tell the team, job done. You can all go home now. And you know, one of the most vital things to come out of closing a program properly is this: updated knowledge. It's all the lessons you learned, the things that went brilliantly, and especially the things that went a bit pear-shaped. You capture all of that so the next team that comes along doesn't make the same mistakes. Honestly, it's just good form.
So, there we have it. The whole story. The program is officially closed, the team is down the pub having a well-deserved pint, but here's the final massive question we have to ask ourselves. Was it all actually worth it? Because here's the absolute truth of it. The real win, the true measure of success for Amgad, Livia and Addy, it isn't just about finishing on time or on budget. Anyone can do that. It's about delivering those real, lasting benefits that you promised right back at the start, in that business case. That is what it's all about. Right, that's your lot for today. Cheers!